Hello, everybody out in Facebook land. It is Thursday, February 13th. I am Jenny Guy. I am the marketing director for Mediavine, and this is an episode of Teal Talk. Even though it seemed like 2020 kind of went off to a slow start, I don't know if anybody else was feeling that. Like January, the first couple of weeks of January were very slow and plodding, and it felt like you still had time to choose your word of the year and your New Year's resolution, all those things. It's mid-February all of a sudden. I don't know what happened. I know I went to several places, but suddenly it's mid-February and we're only 4 months away from our biggest Mediavine event yet, and it is the Mediavine Influencers Conference. It is taking place June 3rd through 5th, 2020, and you better already have your ticket. If you do not already have your ticket, that is what we are here to talk to you about. We have so many great reasons to come to a Mediavine conference, and I'm not just saying that because I go to them and plan them and work for Mediavine. I'm saying it because I've been to a lot of conferences and they all have so many great things coming, but ours, we really work to provide all the education that we can pack in, plus all of the fun and the food and the networking and the brands you want to meet with that'll actually help you go to the next level in your business with your website. And then we have the sponsors, and we also have karaoke. I don't know if anyone heard about Austin. If you did hear about what happened at the Austin closing party, please feel free to share in the comments. We had a great time. It was a blast. There may have been some Backstreet Boys. There may have been some Britney. It was a good time. And plus, this is an exclusive discount code for all of our Teal Talk audience. We love you guys to death. We want you to come. You're so loyal and you watch us on the air, so we want you to meet us IRL. So our discount code for today is Teal Talk 10. That is all caps. The code is case sensitive to when you go to Eventbrite to purchase tickets to the conference, you can get 10% off a Mediavine Influencers Conference ticket. We're going to post all the code and all the information in the live. That is going to last. That code will last and be good until Sunday evening. So we'll give you through V-Day weekend to get all that going. If you have any questions today for me, the conference planning team, or our speakers that I'm about to announce here in a minute, please post them in the comments and we will do our best to answer them during the live. But let's kick things off. Today we are talking with two of our amazing conference speakers who, if my whole spiel didn't just convince you, you need to come to Baltimore, their presence 100% will. Lynsey Kmetz and Phillip Fryman. Lynsey owns the site Moscato Mom, where she shares keto recipes, fitness tips, and travel stories from around the world. And of course, wine, obviously. She is based in Pensacola, Florida, and Phillip runs the site Southern Fatty. He is from Kentucky, but is now based in Nashville, Tennessee, and he blogs about everything delicious. That's the truth. I've visited his site. Phillip expanded his brand beyond his blog into a successful commercial food photography business with clients like Bon Appetit, Feed, Huffington Post, Getty Images, among others. So let's start with the first revealer thing. Lynsey, we haven't actually announced your session yet, so this is a little bit exciting. Tell us a bit about what you will be speaking on in Baltimore. Give us a short preview.
So I am so stoked because this is one of the topics that is near and dear to my heart because it has made such a huge impact in my business and in my personal life. I'm talking about how to set up and run a successful mastermind group. I kind of set one up by accident, and it's been, again, kind of one of the best things I ever did.
That's so great to hear. And it's going to be interesting because we're actually going to have a couple of different mastermind groups represented on the panel so that we can get perspective on how each one was formed and learn their different journeys. And so we're kind of get different perspectives on that. If you're tuning in right now, tell us in the comments something you want to learn about masterminds from Lynsey and the rest of that panel, or tell us your experience with the mastermind and how that has helped you in your business. We'll share those with her later in the Teal Talk. Phillip, and we'll share other people that are going to be on this panel for the mastermind group is Mel Lockoff of Adventures of Mel, Leah Althizer of The Frugal South, and Kenny Hampton of Kenya Ray and Mediavine. So we're really excited about that and to learn more about masterminds. It's I think the digital business can be a little isolating sometimes, and having those connections and forming those connections are so important. And my other wonderful guest, hello, Phillip. How are you today?
I'm great. Cold. But
cold.
I'm great.
Cold there. Is it where you're still in Nashville? Is it cold?
I mean, it's cold for here. Yeah.
It's true. Lynsey, we won't even ask you in Pensacola. I know. It's not cold, and we'll just
short sleeves for yeah.
It's cold here too in Oklahoma, and it never is, and it's always just so annoying. You lived in Chicago, and now I'm just extra about cold. I'm like, no, I can't. That's not okay. Phillip, so tell us what you're speaking about in Baltimore. Give us a little preview.
Yeah. So my session talk, I don't know, whatever it's going to be called, is the title of it. The official title is Developing Your Photography Skills in a Snap, which is a good little, I love a good pun. So there's going to be a lot of those. But I think as a blogger that has gone into a photography business, which has kind of become my main gig now, I get a lot of questions. I know Mediavine gets a lot of questions in the Facebook group and at conferences about photography skills. And this year, I think with the 2 tracks that we're going to have, which I'm really excited about that, it's a good opportunity to have a session where we get a little bit more technical. It's not just going to be simple, should you use this camera versus this? It's going to be more about lighting and technique and skills and myth busting, kind of, with some stuff and equipment recommendations, and hopefully a lot of questions. It's an hour and a half, I think, is what the talk is supposed to be. So we're going to have plenty of time for specific questions maybe, and learn from each other. That's one of the best ways, I think, for photography skills discussion. So that's what it is.
Yeah. And thank you for mentioning that. It's true. There are a lot of questions about photography and how you can level it up from taking down your phone, which is great. And a lot of people do that to then moving it into a business and having something a little bit more in depth, like what you're talking about. And I'm really glad you brought that up, Phillip. Thank you for setting me up for that. We're actually, for the first time at the Mediavine Conference, going to have the two separate tracks of learning, which is going to be more of a beginner session, a series of classes, and then more of an advanced. And what I like about the different kind of topics that we're doing are, rather than necessarily a 101 of blogging, it'll be more of something that is a specific topic, like the photography, whereas if you're more of a beginner in a certain thing, in a certain aspect, because we're not all experts in all things. Some of us need a little bit more beginner knowledge in certain areas, and some of us need a little bit more advanced knowledge in other areas. So it still be the choose your own adventure, but we're going to have some really exciting opportunities to go in depth on things, like Phillip said. So we're pretty excited about that. Lynsey, back to you. When did you join your first mastermind, and how has that changed for you? You kind of mentioned that you were an accidental mastermind founder, so we would like to hear more.
Yeah, so it was completely by accident. I went to a conference, and you always come home from these conferences all with the million ideas and fired up and excited, and it's going to be great. You're going to do all these things, and you set your notebook on your kitchen table. And then the kids want something to eat, and you realize nobody's done the dishes since you left, and you just kind of fall back into life, and sometimes you don't get to all those things that you learned. And so, on a complete whim, it was a conference that had a Facebook group, and so on a total whim, when I realized that I was again falling back into life and not getting the things done for work, I said, "Does anybody want to keep the momentum going?" I was thinking about starting an accountability group, was what I called it. And so there were about 300 people in that Facebook group, 50 of which said, yes, I want in.
Wow.
And because I am completely type A and neurotic, I was like, great, let's meet tomorrow. And so I set it for 9 a.m. the next morning. And I think 12 people came to that, whittled it down to 10, and now I think we're at 6. We've lost some, we've gained some, it's changed, it's evolved, but it has gotten now to such a sisterhood that we've gone through everything together, and they're family. So
I love that.
It has been huge for business, but we have also gone through life changes with one another. And we meet every single week. We don't care if it's a holiday. We don't care, you know, what is going on. The commitment to each other is strong. And every single one of us has grown in our business so astronomically. Like, I can't wait for Mel to talk about it, 'cause she's one that has just absolutely done incredible things. My life has changed. I've changed careers and all kinds of stuff in the process, all thanks to the mastermind. And it's, you know, we've said, and I'm actually also a part of a second one. So I run one.
Oops. We'll bring her back in. She disappeared for a second. Guys, she runs one. Well, so Lynsey, you like went by for just real quick. You were right in the middle.
I don't know what happened. Anyway, I ran one.
Yes,
I run one, although I don't know if you say that. I started one, and then I'm also a part of one. And so I've kind of done both sides, been the person that organizes it and then been the person that kind of walks in on one. And one of the things that we have all said to each other is it's sad how rare it is to really find a tribe of people that will cheer for you. There's no jealousy. There's no competition, you know. And so I'm excited to talk about it because there needs to be more of this. There needs to be more championing one another and working together and cheering each other on. It's just about support and accountability, lots of accountability.
Love all of that. Okay, Phillip, talk to me a little bit about how your start in photography, just like I asked Lynsey about her start in masterminding, tell us a little bit about your start in the photography world and how that's evolved and changed.
Yeah, it was kind of an accident, if I'm totally honest. It's kind of like blogging. But I moved to Nashville from Lexington, Kentucky, 10 years ago, maybe 11. I took a position at Vanderbilt here as a research biologist in the cancer center. And I got really bored with, I liked the work, but I got bored with the environment, did some kind of outlet. So 6 years ago now, I guess, I made my blog. And I think I'd taken a few classes in college for some landscape stuff, just to kind of fulfill that art credit that I had to have. And I enjoyed it, but it was just kind of something I would do, you know, at family events and stuff. But it kind of gave me a good grasp on at least how to use a camera and what some light theories and all of this kind of, that just kind of sat in the back of my head, I think, for a while. And when I started a blog, obviously taking pictures is a big part of that. And I found myself just really enjoying that part the most. And with Nashville, it's such a popular city right now. I don't know if Eric's on here, but I'm trying to push for a Mediavine Nashville conference. I've been pushing for a couple of years now, but so all of you should maybe send that suggestion in. But anyway, Nashville's really popular. We have tons of new restaurants and culinary talent here. And with Instagram kind of as popular as it was getting 6 years ago, a lot of restaurants started realizing that they wanted imagery that was a little bit more relatable and organic, different from their commercial advertising imagery. And so they started to reach out and ask if I worked with businesses. And that now has formed into a really successful, pretty much full-time photography business for me. And I think it was totally unexpected and it was kind of scary for me, but it's been amazing. I still blog. I get a lot of clients through my blog still, a lot of brand clients for unrelated projects. I think we'll talk a little bit about kind of the other opportunities with that in a little bit, but yeah, that's kind of what happened.
And I love hearing that everything that kind of happens just somehow happens by an accident, and it's never really the journey that you think it's going to be, but rolling with the punches. You have also struck a chord on Nashville. We've got all of the people giving shout outs. Eric is in fact creeping along and making Listen promises.
Up, Eric.
Eric, that was not coming from me.
Yeah, I'm not a Mediavine employee. So.
No. Yes, Mediavine Nashville. Mediavine Nashville, says Michelle. Ann Paris says Mediavine Nashville. Yeah, there's some Nashville loving happening right now. So it struck a chord for sure. So let's stop the awesome session talk for a second and tell everyone a little bit more about why we are so darn excited about Baltimore 2020. It is going to be held at the Marriott Baltimore waterfront. You can book your room there at our discounted rate, which is a great rate. It's a beautiful hotel. And you'll get that information once you book your ticket. And the conference will also be held at the Marriott Baltimore waterfront, so you won't have to travel. It's all in one spot. Plus, it is super close to our closing party location, which is another incredible venue called Power Plant Live. Our amazing event coordinator and conference organizer, Megan Myers, was with, and I did a site visit of it in last May, and it was amazing. We walked all the way around the harbor, and we looked at all the hotels, and we looked at all the different places, and we really just fell in love with it. We also ate a silly amount of crab in 2 days. So if you're a crab fan, it's a great city. There's baseball, there's history, there's water. It's a pretty stellar place, and we're super excited to be joining to be there. Tickets are available on our events website, which is mediavine.com/events/Baltimore. But we'll share that link in the comments for you guys. This year, we also added a new feature, which would be 2-day or 3-day tickets. The 3-day ticket, which is currently sold out. I know everybody wants to get that 3-day ticket, but you can absolutely join the wait list now. Get that 2-day ticket. Get on the wait list for the 3-day ticket. As they open up, we'll release them to the wait list. But that third day includes a workshop with the Mediavine team, the publisher support department, where you can learn about optimizing your RPM, the Mediavine dashboard. You can get help with all things video and ask questions about our WordPress plugins, create and grow. And that's been an incredibly popular feature and addition. We're pretty excited to be offering that in 2020. So yes, get on the list. Again, you get 10% off all tickets. Teal Talk 10 is the code, all caps, not caps on the numbers. Those cannot be capitalized.
I think I jinxed it.
With what?
Did we lose her?
Phillip, while we are figuring out Lynsey's little technical difficulty, will you tell me a little bit more about, you've attended MVCons before, so tell us a little bit more about the ones you've been to, if you don't mind.
Yeah, the first one I went to, which was the first food blogging conference I had ever, or bloggers conference, I guess I shouldn't say food bloggers now, but was when they had it at Google, and I just kind of went because it was Google and and it sounded fun, and I'm a nerd, and it was great. I've kind of avoided other conferences in the past just because I've heard a lot of people say that they felt like it was a little bit generic with the sessions sometimes, and I have a hard time letting go of that much time if I don't feel like I'm getting a lot out of it. So that was my first one, and then I went last year to Austin. It's been amazing. Before I started blogging, I was kind of a total introvert, and I think meeting all these blog people that sounds, but it was just a real way to meet other people that understood that blogging isn't just this random thing, and that it can be a career and a job, and it can be difficult. And meeting all of those people, I think I see Susanna there. I actually sent her cookies years ago at like a cookie swap, and it's just neat to see it kind of full circle with that. And yeah, so for me, it's the experience of the people. I think the sessions have been great. I'm excited this year about the advanced track and the beginners track. I think that'll, as much as I like the sessions before, I think that'll be a really good addition to this year. So
good. We're really glad to hear it. And we're also really looking forward to having, so we'll have like keynotes.
I cannot see or hear Jenny anymore.
Can you see or hear Phillip? Or
so Phillip, I can hear you.
Okay.
I'll just repeat everything. No.
That's what I'm saying. If there's a question.
Say, I'm sorry. Lynsey, will you have Lynsey leave and come back in, please?
Lynsey, she says leave and come back.
Okay, I will try.
That's what we'll do. We apologize for these technical difficulties, you guys. I'm not sure what happened. And like I said, it's a new wrinkle in our Be Live experiences. Yes. So you said you were mentioning that you're really excited about the 2 tracks and having different ways to learn that'll be different from the past. Have you attended any other blogging conferences in the past that you have any?
Yeah. So I'm not long conferences. I've been to some like full day, like Saturday things, but I've avoided kind of a lot of the other full conferences. I don't want to go to a bunch of 3 and 4 day events every year just because I'm pretty busy. And this is one that I feel like is worth my time. It sounds like kind of bad, but it's true. I haven't been to other that are, multiple days, but people kind of chat a little bit. I mean, there's some that I think I would be in, but this is my pick for now. So,
well, I mean, we've been to some amazing conferences, so we never want to. I've been to a ton of amazing conferences in the blogging world, but we do approve of your choice. We're very happy that you're good. Lynsey, can you hear me?
And we're back.
You can hear me.
No idea what happened. It went totally black. I could see and hear Phillip just fine, and then it told me I was offline, but I just kept. So anyway, it's been a comedy of errors kind of day. So I apologize for that if I was talking over you because I could not see or hear you.
Can you hear me now?
I got you now.
Okay, that's exciting. That is thrilling. Okay. So I was talking a little bit, I think, when the things started to hit the fan, I was talking a little bit about Baltimore and our 2 and 3 day tickets and how we're having some differences this year with the different tracks of learning. And I wanted to talk to you a little bit about the previous MV cons that you have attended and which ones you've been to and what you liked most about them.
My favorite was the very first one, which was at Charlotte.
So we had Charleston. Charleston was the first.
I was like, yeah, Charlotte didn't sound right. Charleston. And I was blown away. And that one, I always said, I've told everybody since, you have to go to Mediavine. It was the most professional. It had the most like up-to-date type stuff. I go to conferences, tons of conferences, and you think things have changed by the time the session happens, or or it's very beginner. And this was more of an intermediate to advanced. I learned so much so quickly that it was my favorite.
Well, yay. We're so glad to hear. And we love Charleston too. I think we just want to keep leveling up and keeping things current and making sure that we are helping you in as many different aspects of your business as we can but also offering you the specialized Mediavine attention that you want about your RPMs, dashboard, ads, the things that our publisher support department is so amazing at. So we're glad to thank you for that feedback. So what made you interested in speaking at MVCons? Talk to me a little bit about speaking and what your history has been. Phillip, we'll start with you.
Oh, geez. All right. So yeah, I don't think this is something I ever thought that I would want to do. But I talked a little bit to Megan and some of the other Mediavine crew at the last conference in Austin. And we just kind of over drinks randomly were talking about how many people have questions about photography. And I think it's something I've really learned to enjoy sharing with other people about. And this, I think, is just a really good opportunity to connect a little bit more with other bloggers that are there. And I think I finally am to the point where I can stand in front of people and talk, and hopefully the room is has a few people in it. And I get really excited about food photography specifically, and I think it'll just be kind of a fun group conversation.
Yeah, absolutely. I think, well, first of all, having met you, I never would have guessed that you were super introverted. You
Oh,
do
yeah.
you do a very good job at pretending you're not. You seem to have I mean, not that that's bad to be introverted. You seem very boisterous and matter of fact and fun to be around and all that stuff. So, yeah, I think that some of the best conference sessions I've ever been to are the ones that are more workshop, that are more conversation. And I think that that's another great thing that we'll have with Lynsey's session as well, which is kind of that a conversation with the audience, a conversation with the panelists, and then bringing the audience into that. So, Lynsey, what made you apply to speak at a Mediavine conference?
My mastermind.
Wow.
They kind of were like, we should do this because it has made such a significant difference for all of us. I have actually spoken at a bunch of conferences in a different industry. And spoke at my first blogging conference this year, kind of on the spot, which was fun. This is the first official one that I have plenty of time to psych myself out over. But they all said, we should do this. We should talk about this. This is something that the blogosphere needs, and training people how to do it. Training and talking to people and inspiring people has always been something that I've loved to do. And this is just one more outlet opportunity to do that.
Love that so much. So yeah, and as we've already said so many times, and Phillip has brought up, that we'll have those two different tracks, which is going to make it easier for people to choose what they specifically need, the aspects so they can make the conference that they're most looking forward to, as well as offering the things that we're known for, which is karaoke and 3 p.m. afternoon wine and cheese breaks and really great food and just a lot of action-packed learning and inspiration to take you to the next level. So in addition to Phillip and Lynsey's sessions, we have already announced several other exciting ones, and we're going to keep announcing, but we'll start with, I'm just going to read them off and see if you've heard about them or not. Allison Gary of Wardrobe Oxygen is earning your audience's trust for maximum income. Aaron Chase of $5 Dinners is all about automations, your invisible employee. Hillary Erickson of Pulling Curls, triple your income while you sit at the pool. It's all about courses. Meredith Marsh of VidPro Mom, quickly reach a wider audience with multi-platform videos. Sarah Mock of Savoring the Good, finding success in blogging without having a team. Sherry Smotherman Short of Painless Blog Analytics and Cub Scout Ideas, how to use Google Analytics to improve your site's performance. And then someone, you might have heard of him, Eric Hochberger, CEO of Mediavine. He's speaking about the future of Mediavine, including our incredible product suite, which now includes Create and Grow. And then the thing that everybody asks about and wants to know about is Trellis. And he is very, he has told me today that he will have things to share on that for sure, without a doubt, committed, as he also apparently is committing to Nashville in the comments as well. But this was, he committed to this, and we cannot promise Nashville. Ann Paris is saying you killed your speaking session after having 2 hours notice, Lynsey, that you were you killed it. You told me about that before we started the live, and I said, dang, girl, that's a lot and really amazing.
I didn't have time to think about it. I just did. So I didn't have time to worry about it. It was perfect.
And now and I think it's also amazing that you're coming in and doing it again. That's you apparently, you killed it. Not apparently, you did kill it. And now you're doing it again. I just think that's such an incredible introduction into speaking, and that you're, and for the blogging world, and that you're doing more. So of these sessions we've announced so far, which one are you most excited about? What are you hoping that they'll cover? Tell us in the comments, you guys. And then Phillip and Lynsey, are there any particular sessions other than obviously each other's and that you're most excited about? Lynsey.
I'm excited about photography. Like, I can't wait. I'm going to go to his. I don't know what side he is. You're over here for me.
It's confusing. It's fine. Yeah. We understood. We knew that I'm not talking about photography. That's all that matters. So excited about Phillip. Phillip, what about you?
I'm seeing now that, so Sherry is actually another Nashvilleian, so that'll be kind of neat. The automations talk that Aaron is giving, I think, is something I really need. I'm not the most organized person, and I think that could help. Sure, it will help.
It'll help. I think that, yeah, that's something that I think all of us could get a little bit better at, is trying to offset all of the various little tools that we're using and maybe upgrade on one.
And it's nice to have somebody else that can kind of say the ones I recommend. I think that's, for me at least, that's a big part of the frustration with that, is there's so many tools and so many options for all of those outlets that I need someone to just kind of point and say, use this. So
you don't have to like go through the trial period of, I tried this one for 2 weeks. Now they won't stop emailing me and asking me to buy in. And so yeah, it's good to have somebody do that legwork for you. And Anne said, someone who doesn't know she and I are friends told me Lynsey was her favorite session of the conference. She's good. And Anne also said Phillip gets to pick the restaurants in Baltimore. Phillip is
never been there, but I'll do my best.
Do you have a reputation as a good restaurant picker?
I mean, I kind of get a little bit neurotic about like researching the restaurants in the cities before I go. So we'll see.
Samey. I have been known when I'm not the best sleeper. So sometimes when I can't sleep, the most relaxing thing I can do is make Pinterest boards for places I'm going to be traveling and cross-reference different eater lists. And you know, why not? But it's good to know. Okay, so speaking of restaurants in Baltimore, does anyone have any good restaurant recommendation? We kept hearing more and more about the Fells Point neighborhood, which is really close to where the Baltimore Marriott waterfront is. And so that's an easy walk, and I believe has some great Italian and different cuisines there as well. And then Hampton is another good neighborhood that that we'd love to be able to visit if you're going to go for the conference. And what do you guys do out there? Do you guys go just for the conference? Or I know, Phillip, you said you're not super keen on staying for many days, but do you go out through different days? Do you ever give a little extra time to explore?
Yeah, but I didn't get that much time in Austin. That was actually my first time in Austin too. But I liked kind of the time after, like in the evening, the way it was set up, that I went to as many places as I could. Yeah, I'm gonna spend the day before and the day after the conference in Baltimore kind of running around and getting seafood, because we don't really have any good seafood in Nashville. So
landlocked state, I'm with you there.
I know. Yeah. So
don't eat the oysters in the landlocked state. Stay away. Susanna, all of our team, my whole team is the brand team, and they're all foodies, and she's recommending, I always go to Paper Moon Diner when I'm there. Susanna goes to Baltimore a lot. Her sister has lived there and she's got family connections, but she said the entire place is decorated floor to ceiling with toys. So that sounds pretty awesome. Lynsey, what about you? Do you go before and after? Have you had any great opportunities to visit a city and spend more time?
Yeah, well, and I again always meet the mastermind group. We have our own like times that we go out for our own retreats, but we seem to always meet up at the conferences and stuff as well. So I'm looking forward to it. There's a couple keto people that we're all going to dinner together that we've kind of connected. So that'll be fun. And then when I put it on my Instagram that I was speaking, I actually discovered that a friend of mine that I have not seen in 25-ish years lives in Baltimore. So,
wow.
So she was like, oh my God, you're coming to Baltimore. I'm like, I am. Are you in Baltimore? Yeah. So yeah, I get to meet them as well.
Jenny's gone.
Okay.
Just us, Lynsey.
Can you hear me?
There she is.
Am I back?
Made me a little nervous. I don't know where this is.
They're trying to shorten my life today here in this world, and it's I've had enough. I'm ready to go to Baltimore and not the okay. Megan was saying brunch at Miss Shirley's is fantastic. We went there and it was wonderful. All right, so let's talk a little bit about just general conference attending, because I know they can be. The conference world for the blogging industry is quite an is a whole microcosm of its own self. I'm just saying words. I'm glad I'm on the camera. So what advice would you give to a first time conference attendee?
Walk up and talk to everybody. walk up and just talk. And, Jenny, you and I talked about before we got started, how many times you and I have like been 1 degree away from each other or one, separation. And that has happened a couple times in conferences where somebody said, oh, well, I saw you, but I didn't want to, interrupt or whatever. And I'm like, please interrupt me. Because I'm an interrupter. So I'm okay with an interruptee, come and talk and stuff, because again, the blogosphere can feel very isolating. You can, when this is where you work and this is the only time you have, build those connections and just talk to people. 99.9% of everybody is super cool and just going to be like, oh, hey, and it's okay to introduce yourself as your blog. Hi, I'm so-and-so, because I am terrible with names, but chances are I'll remember your blog name.
That's really good advice. And really helpful also, because I do think you can feel a little bit like I didn't want to, you were in the con, you were in the elevator, and yeah. Phillip, what about for you?
I mean, I would probably have the same answer. The only thing I would maybe add to that is, I know my first Mediavine conference, I was nervous to see people that I knew online and meet them in real life, but just dive in. Yeah, meet and connect with as many people as you can. That to me is one of the biggest benefits of these conferences. And aside from that, I would say to get to know the Mediavine crew. That to me has made a huge difference, knowing and seeing the faces behind the platform there. It makes being part of it a whole different experience. And even though they're paying you a lot of money, it's nice to see the people that run it. And a lot of them, I mean, I'm sure maybe you know better, but I think most of maybe the Mediavine crew are bloggers themselves or have been, and it's unique in that, I think. And yeah, it's a good opportunity to kind of connect with them too.
Yeah, we love that. That's one of our very favorite things, is being able to get to meet people that, especially for either the support teams or the engineers or sales teams that aren't getting to connect on every day. And then the support team is getting to connect, but they're not getting to meet the person. So it's such a huge thing for us to get to say hi to people that we've only, I exchanged an email with you. Hello, this is your face. This is a new thing. I would say, if maybe you were talking about, Lynsey, that you posted on Facebook and said that you had a keto friend, or you've got keto friends, and you've also got someone who you just happened to meet. So let people know that you're coming. And a great place to do that is in the Mediavine Facebook group, the conference Facebook group. So when you do get your ticket, you'll be added to that group. Make sure that you are, and then start connecting. See if you know people that are in there. See if you are able to set up a lunch or a breakfast or something like that if you're a little bit nervous, and get your feet wet so that you have a buddy to go be in the rooms with. But I will say this, it's hard. We try to make it to where it's pretty hard to stand off by yourself at a Mediavine conference. We don't want you to. If you're feeling a little bit nervous, we will reach out and pull you in. That is our goal. Okay, so I was going to ask this question. It's kind of related tangentially. Where are you guys? I was going to say, what is the one thing you must bring to a conference? You must have it. But that was my tangential question was, are you pro business cards, anti business cards? Where do you sit? This is a controversial subject in today's conference attending world. Phillip, what do you think?
I have taken business cards every year. They're still right here, a huge stack of them. And I've never handed a single one out. I just don't think about it once I start talking to people. For me, at least, social media is kind of where I handle a lot of that. I might have a little collection on Instagram that I will go to the person's, I can add, one of their photos to a group called New People or something. And then that gives me a little bit of time later to kind of connect with them there and follow up on things. I'm just not I'm so disorganized that business cards just don't work for me, but I've seen a lot of people use them there. I don't know what happens to them when they leave, but I mean, yeah, so I don't know. Other than business cards, I would say people need to bring their karaoke song choice. That's my answer, because that closing party is a blast.
Well, that is always, I think that we recommend that for any Mediavine event. It's just good to have a karaoke song just in general. But I hear you on the business cards. Okay. I've got Lynsey, tell me what you think with the 2 questions.
I'm kind of the same way. I always take business cards. I have them. I have taken them, and I do try to follow up later, but I'd much rather connect with you on Instagram. Is always going to be my favorite. And the thing that I was going to say to bring is an extra phone charger. I've made friends when somebody says, does anybody have a phone charger? You're like, I got you. So I was
super smart.
One for me, and then an extra one that I can loan out.
That is a super smart conference tip. I love that. So I love Phillip's also about making the group for Instagram so that it's not, because it can feel, I've done the business card thing and I think it's super important to like have them, but that's part of kind of where I am in the Mediavine world. But what I've done is sat there and done, like when I'm doing follow-ups, into like a little notebook, and I put the business card in and I've written on that same page what we talked about or what we said, because I always try to remember, so that when you're emailing back and forth with someone post-conference, you're referencing an actual conversation as opposed to, I have your card and that means I'm sure I met you at some point, but it's hard. It gets overwhelming so fast. So I really love Phillip's idea too for the Instagram group. That's so smart. People are saying Juice by Lizzo. Anne said Juice by Lizzo as her karaoke song. Well, you have months, guys. You have months to go home. You can think about it. You can test it out in the shower. There's a lot of options here before it's time to really put up or show up. Okay. If you're still with us, do not forget to purchase your Mediavine conference ticket. We are June 3rd through 5th in Baltimore in 2020 at the Waterfront Marriott, and it is going to be beautiful and wonderful. You have 10% off your any ticket purchase today with the code Teal Talk 10. That's all caps, one word, with the numerals 1 and 0 at the end, just in case. But we've got it posted in the comments. So if you have any need for links or anything, they're all there. Just scroll through and find them, and they will be available later as well. Okay. So we started to touch on this a little bit, and we naturally it's the big question about conferences all the time. And I think that you said it, Lynsey, right when we first started talking, that it's hard to put these things into place sometimes. It's so hard. It's just like an information overload. You're getting inundated with facts, and you have all these great plans for how I'm going to do this, plus the networking, plus the brands, plus all the people you need to follow up with. And I started kind of giving some of my follow-up tips. But it's a beast, man. It really is. And that's why you ended up with the mastermind. So, Lynsey, talk a little bit more about how you, outside of forming a mastermind group and having that amazing experience, what else might you recommend for follow-up in conference world?
Gosh, I would say if you're talking about like where to start, because you go to all these sessions, get all these great, nuggets of information, all these things, and you want to just implement them all. And of course you can't do that. I just kind of break things up, and I think, and this is going to sound terrible, I probably shouldn't say this, but I'm like, what is going to make me the most money quickest?
Yeah. And
that's the thing that I focus on. And so if it's building the email list, then that's where I'm going to go. And that's what I'm going to start with. And if it's, figuring out my site speed or my SEO or my whatever, that's where I put my hierarchy on what to learn. And then follow up, I'm kind of like a shotgun. Like I want to talk to everybody. I want to just everybody at one time. So the actual follow up, I'm a little less meticulous. It's more like
completely understandable. So is it fair to say that you maybe separate into like categories, like you said, by which ones are going to earn you the dollar bills? That's the fairest way to do it. Totally fair. Love that.
Like, because you come home, you're exhausted. You got to get back to life. It's been a few days since you've been gone. So, I'm like, what can I do the quickest that I'm going to see the biggest return? And then it all just kind of seems to fall into place after that.
Love that. Okay. Phillip, the question is coming your way, but and then we'll have a little bit more talk about crabs. We had a bunch of people posting about delicious, wonderful crabs. Okay. Phillip, how do you handle conference overload?
I'm kind of a mess, and I take notes at some of the conferences. I try to just type up notes in my phone for some action items, I guess, or whatever. And I usually put those on my desk when I get back. I pick out the ones that I think I actually might implement, and usually I don't get to all of them, but so I put those on my desk. They're kind of in my face afterwards for a while. But when I get back, I go 200% on some of it, just because to me, the conference I'm the type that needs a good, not just a nudge, but like a full blown like shove into things. And I get really excited about changing things on my blog and blogging more, and kind of it's totally a refresh for me. So I push pretty hard probably for the first month when I'm back. If y'all could do this every month, that'd be great. You
just heard my whole team, especially our event coordinator, go.
Yeah, I get really hyped about it when I get back, and it pushes me really hard. And I try to, at least some bigger things in my notes, I try to accomplish those. And it can be a little overwhelming, I think. I mean, there's so many things you could do there. You can get so detailed with, especially the technology world side of the blog and SEO and all of these things that I think knowing what I can handle myself has been a learning experience for conference kind of takeaways for me. And sometimes maybe if some of those things need to be done, I have met really good people at the conference that can help me do it, and that I can hire to do part of it for me. So, yeah.
I think that's really great. I think that's one of the things that I hear said over and over and over again with every guest. I'm so lucky to be the host of the show and have all the different people from all over the blogging world come in to talk and get to interview them and chat with them. But I think finding where it is you want to focus your energy is the best way to like overcome the overwhelm. And then I love Phillip's tip about maybe you're meeting someone with this networking at the conference that can take care of the things that aren't necessarily going to be your cup of tea moving forward. So that's really great advice. Ann Paris says, actionable takeaways you can implement immediately to improve your business. That's what I focus on when I speak and what I want as an attendee. Absolutely. We focus on that with all the conference speakers that we choose. And when we're out speaking at conferences, we're focusing on those action items, those takeaways, things you can walk away and immediately implement. And Julie Diley said, yeah, poor Megan. Absolutely. Poor Megan. Okay. So I loved also the tip about, do you guys have any other tips? I loved Phillip's first tip about using how you kind of social media. Do you group anyone? Is there any way you kind of follow up in that way that's a little bit more detailed instead of just making a group and then putting in new people? Or I don't know. I was just wondering if there was a way to organize that somehow with the social media planning. Phillip, no, probably not.
I mean, I don't know. I mean, I love a good list. I'm a list person. So I kind of tend to keep a little note in my phone where I'll type in blog names and go back and kind of weed through that later. But I see a lot of people completely filling a notebook at the conference, and that may work for them. But it doesn't work for me. So I condense things as much as I can, and then really, I mean, even just like on the plane ride back, if I have Wi-Fi or something there or in the hotel, I'll try to actually look at all of those accounts and see who I might connect with the most, and kind of deal with it that way. It's an easy thing to do when you're just kind of sitting for a little while or hanging out in your room and not in front of everyone and feel obligated to kind of jump in and interact with every single person you meet. I mean, I think you have to be kind of realistic about which ones might be a good fit for you to be a little closer to, maybe.
Yeah, absolutely. And yeah, knowing your limitations. And I think that one of the biggest things for me is doing it while it's fresh. Because once it's not fresh anymore, I am forked. Like if it's gone, and the only way that I found to combat that, like if it's just constant boom, 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 is to make those notes with business cards or with something, just so I'm not completely like at home 5 days later going, I have no idea what we talked about. Same question to you, Lynsey.
I actually am a hashtag stalker. So I will stalk the event hashtag like a level 3, like just I go, I'm like, oh, Twitter exists. Let's see what's happening on. It's like the only time I care anything about Twitter is for like live events and blog events. So I'll stalk the Twitter feed if there's anybody that I talk to, little nuggets that people put out. You know, like when they're at different sessions. I love it when people tweet out those little nuggets of information, and I'll go through and retweet those. And then on Instagram, which is my favorite thing of all time, is to, you know, go through that and see everybody's pictures and like everybody's pictures and stories and reshare and all of that. So that'll be me that goes, and it's like for the 72 hours after the event's over, it's nothing but hashtags, like stalking.
I think that you just wrote another session if you're ever interested in learning one, but level 3 hashtag stalker is a pretty good. I mean, I would attend that session. I would be interested to watch that. I would buy a ticket for that.
Like everything that I may have missed, I get to see, and then I get to relive everything that I was there for.
That sounds like almost like a Disney World vacation thing. It sounds like you just packed it all into a great package. I love that. Okay, guys. Well, we're to our final moments, and I am so sorry about that because I've been having a blast, and we've had almost 10 uninterrupted minutes of us being able to be in the live together, which was so thrilling and exciting. And I appreciate you guys rolling with the punches and being such rock stars. But the last thing I wanted to ask you, and this is a little bit more on the spot, but if you could give attendees one key action takeaway to walk away from your session with in Baltimore, and I'm going to give you guys a second while I make a couple of announcements, but just think on that. You're not going to be graded on this. It won't be for the test. I will not be attending your sessions. Just something that you know that you want attendees to walk away knowing after your session in Baltimore. And just to give everyone an announcement on our next Teal Talk, we are February 27th. That is 2 weeks from today at 3 p.m. Eastern Time with Carly Campbell of Buns in My Oven and Christy Still of Mommy Hates Cooking. We are calling this episode Second Site Startup. It is still early enough in Q1 that everybody is pretty consumed with wanting to start that second site or a third site or a fourth site, depending on where you are. And we want to talk to a couple of people, both Carly and Christy, who have a lot of experience in this area, have had success, and can talk us through the nuts and the bolts about how you can run those two businesses, where the overlap is, where you need to be more singular in your focus. So we're pretty excited about that. We won't be announcing that or promoting that until next week. And if you've got questions about running another blog, like I said, watch out for those announcements or send it in to sponsored@mediavine.com. We're always here to answer those. And as another reminder, we are offering tickets to all of our Teal Talk viewers. If you're watching this on the replay, we love you. Thank you. Big teal puppy hearts. But please go. And if you haven't bought a ticket to our Baltimore conference, we've got a special running through Sunday, February 16th. In that evening, it is with the code Teal Talk 10, you can get 10% off any Baltimore ticket purchase. So again, if you want a 3-day ticket and we're sold out on those currently, join the wait list and get your 2-day ticket just to make sure that you're in and you've still got that discount to the conference tickets that you are looking for. We're very excited to have you. And again, Sunday at midnight, Teal Talk 10, all of those different links and the actual written out version of the discount code is in the comments. So just check for that there. All right. To my wonderful guests, to both Phillip and Lynsey. Phillip, I had just asked if you could, what one action giveaway would you like for people in your session, which is about photography and getting really down and deep and dirty on that? What would it be?
I think I'm hoping that people leave not afraid of photography. I think it's really terrifying for some people. And so I'm hoping we can kind of connect with people in a way that they can find ways to enjoy advancing their photography, and to realize how much money you can make if by improving your photography on your site. It's blogs are visual platforms, and when you improve the imagery and the quality of your content, which including your images, it can make a huge difference in your business. I mean, it's completely changed my life for my business. So yeah, it's not scary, and you can come anyway if you're scared, and we'll work through it. So
Phillip is fantastic of Southern Fatty. He's going to be talking about advanced, really getting into the nuts and bolts of photography. And he's going to be on hand on our conference in Baltimore, the Mediavine Influencers Conference, June 3rd through 5th, 2020. Lynsey, same question to you.
I think that just remembering that there's always humans on the other side of the computer, and whether you're talking to your mastermind group, your readers, your followers, your whatever, that those relationships just matter. And events like this are a great time to hug that person, or don't if you're not a hugger, and and just say your friendship, your whatever connection we have matters to me, because sometimes I think we forget that when comments don't happen as often, and with the metrics on social media and the likes and the hearts and the this and the that, to know that there's always people that are watching you and that care about you and that are cheering you on, even if they're doing it quietly.
Well, I couldn't ask for a better message to end this one up with than that. I love hearing all about connection, and come and connect with us in Baltimore. A big, huge thank you to my guests, Lynsey Jones Kmetz and Phillip Fryman. Thank you guys. We will see you in Baltimore. I plan to eat crab with all of you, and I can't wait to learn from you as well. And we hope to see you there too. Viewers, please get that code in and get your tickets for 10% off Baltimore, and we will see you in June. Goodbye, everybody. Thank you.